Salute, Walterson. Emilo Latimo Mohoye. The day Lafia. Divine risings and rotations. Beloved army, beloved army. Ujima. Collective works and responsibilities. When a time comes that individuals are no longer sticking to the scripts of their responsibilities, we have to begin to step in as brothers. We have to begin to step in as aunts, as sisters, as uncles, as mothers, fathers, cousins, neighbors, children. Because the understanding that it takes a village to raise a child, no two parents are sufficient enough. Because those two parents have to be capable of relying upon the village. Those two parents have to be capable enough to rely upon the family. Now, for my brothers and my sisters out here, I don't want you to be confused in me thinking that family is just insinuating the people that you were born within the household to, because sometimes that concept of family fails us worse than the people that we come in contact with in the society. So don't mistake that for being your family. That may be what is considered to be biological. Like we become so accustomed to saying my biological father, because in so many cases, fathers have abandoned their children. Fathers have not, even when present, stuck to the fatherly duties of that role. But even in that, in antiquity, the father role was the brother's role as well. The father's role was the grandfather's role, the uncle's role, the male cousin's role. Everybody was an extension of that fatherly role. And the same thing when it came to the mother. And so we're living or existing in an environment where the consistencies are being lacked. The consistencies of true, legitimate support is being lacked. And we'll use the most smallest of infractions to separate ourselves from each other. You have fathers who say it's too much to be a father. And then you have mothers who can't say it's too much to be a mother. And if a mother did say that, then it becomes a crime, a sense of abandonment and neglect, child abuse. But this is a collective work. A parent shouldn't have to say, well, I can't afford support, because the family should already be given the support. The friends should be given the support, because friends are supposed to be the equivalent of family, not this fraudulent in and out behavior, convenient behavior that we have now defined as friendship. The community support. This is why elders and the respect of elders is so important, because when the parents or the active adults are out and about doing what they need to do, getting the things that they need to get to bring back into the household and into the community, it's those elders that take on the responsibilities for looking out for the youth. It's those older youth, once they're done doing their duties, that help the elders out to look on for the youth. And then the parents come home and they do their portion of looking on for the youth. And we are all responsible for our communities. We are all responsible for our families. We are all responsible for society. And if you don't like the way that society is going based upon the diversity of cultures being placed in one situation or a melting pot at one time, then you need to remove yourself from the melting pot and start to create or redefine what community and society looks like to you. It's only wrong when you sit inside of a pot and you complain about the mixtures in the pot. You have the ability to brew your stew. You have the ability to season your food. You have the ability to make the most powerful impact for yourself, for those closest to you. And you may not be the one that's meant to be the one to extend that further than that. But you allow those who are meant to extend that further than that to go out and extend it further. We got to have patience with each other. We got to have tolerance with each other. We got to have perseverance with each other. We got to have consideration for each other. We got to have compassion, mercy for each other. We got to have love and loyalty for each other. But before we can do any of those things for an external identity, we have to do them for an internal identity. And it's hard as shit to do that because many of us don't even know who we are internally. We have become our personality, which is a consumption of our experiences being expressed through our natural or natural character. But it's not who we were truly meant to be. It's who we become through the scars and the bruises, through the struggles and the strife. That's not an identity. Your identity is not what was defined of you because you had to fight to be. Your identity is something that you should never have to fight to maintain. So many of us have become artificial identities or artificial intelligence in and of itself. Because society has mis and diseducated us into being thinking a certain way, seeing a certain way, speaking a certain way, hearing a certain way. Religions have mis and diseducated us and speaking a certain way, thinking a certain way, being a certain way, and so forth and so forth. And then our parents have been through those same cycles of mis and diseducation, and many of them have forced that upon us. Their phobias, their fears, their false evidence is appearing real. And then we do it to our children. And so a mutant is created from a mutant. An incompletion is created from an incompletion. Only thing different is that at one time, one person was whole and then they settled for incompletion. As it is said in the scripture, somewhere it explains that you gave away everything to acquire a thing. That's what we sing in these lands. You traded immortality for some beads. We are each other's responsibility. Until we kick in that, we're going to keep seeing an unraveling everywhere. And eventually it's going to be in our homes, if it's not already in your home. Stay focused, stay positive, stay around focused and positive people. Never lose who you are once you know who you are, and never sacrifice who you are for nothing and nobody. Don't just wake up, get out of the bed and stay out of the bed and assist others in rising from that slumber. Alafia farano wo monife rei lai ni di wope aka sima kayeri onyon kopon aka kayeri frama umuntu winga bantu lai ni waju korese. Fiete no ya soto eto frako banjibo. Nakupenda usifiwe. Nakupenda usifiwe. Nakupenda usifiwe. Salute, peace and motivation, wholeness and motivation. Have an illuminating day. I love y'all. Immortally. One.